First impressions are terrible. They suck. Well, you know me and my intros. They're terrible. I had to reschedule with this dude last week, and then I messed up the intro like 5 times. And anyway, but let me start with this real quick. I got to make a plug to something that the show will be doing for A Gram of Love. It's a nonprofit organization. It's August 5th at Fretz Rec Center. We will be there doing a remote, and we will have 4 instructors running a clinic from 3 to 4:30, and then 4:30 to 7 we will have Major League Pickleball format for a group of people that want to grind. It's at Fretz Rec Center August 5th from 3 to 7 indoors. One of the show's sponsor, Charbox, will be there grilling some dogs and burgers and all that good stuff. So we'd love to have you out there. Thank you, Twisted Pickle, for sponsoring this, and Gram of Love. Lastly, this guy coming on, man, he's pretty cool. He reminds me of the lead singer of White Buffalo. Yep, from somewhere on the East Coast. He's a stud, dude. He actually has his own pickleball channel called Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report. But I have to tell you right now, when I first met this dude right off the bat, I liked him. Sleeves, what up, bro?
Hey, man. Good to be here, Reese. Love it. Love the show.
Well, glad to have you on, man. Tell us your full name so we can figure it out. Talk about the way of pickleball, brother. Tell us what, when, where, why. Go with it, man. All you.
Yeah, man. So my actual name is Mike Sleva. So Sleeves comes from my last name, Sleva, and that's how when I would teach high school, I would tell kids to pronounce my last name. It's just a sleeve and then an and then they started calling me Sleeves. So that kind of stuck with the channel, got it rolling, and like everybody, I got into this goofy wiffle ball game about sometime in COVID a couple years ago, and here I am. I have a channel. I have subscribers. I'm doing reviews, and I didn't even know the game existed. Probably 2.5 years ago.
What's the channel, man? Hang on, where's it at? What's it on?
It's Senior Pickleball Report. So if you just kind of put that in the search engine of YouTube,
Senior Pickleball,
and obviously subscribe and trying to get to that big 1,000 mark so I can get monetized someday.
I hear you, pickle. I'm with you, man. We're in the same boat, but I'm doing it because I do have I have a Senior Pickleball Report. I gotta stay on target, bro. ADHD's for real. Senior Pickleball Report, right here. Sleeves, dude. You're on YouTube like me, man.
I'm on the YouTube.
Hey. Yeah, I'm going to subscribe to my channel right now. I'm subscribing to yours. Do it. See?
I will. I think I already subscribed to yours, actually.
All right, man. We just subscribed. I feel you, man. But no, I've seen some of your stuff, and I've heard good things from some of the owners and players I've had on here. That's why I reached out to you, man, because you got a good vibe going. So tell us about the channel a little bit. Tell us what all you go over and fun stuff like that.
Yeah, so, I started playing probably, it'll be 2 years next month, and I was in about 3 or 4 months of playing, and a buddy of mine who I used to do video work with, we used to do film weddings and do, ads and stuff like that. He's trying to drive viewers to his news channel, which just kind of, I call his news channel, it's kind of like Huffington Post Light. It's called TNC Network. So we just kind of do, news that isn't politically based or anything like that. And so I said, hey, I play pickleball. It's kind of blowing up. Maybe I should talk about it at the senior level because I don't see anybody doing that yet. And we can drive some viewership to the channel. And it just kind of took off from there. And now it's become a little bit of a monster because now we have to do stuff and create stuff and people, review and do interviews. And I'm like, holy cow, it's getting like a job.
I know. Well, listen, I completely understand that part because I know, because if you're like me, when I was asked over a year ago now to do this, I was like, well, yeah, sure, why not? And so I hear you. So we will follow. Also subscribe to the Pickleball Show with Curtis Reese as well. I just subscribed to our boy, Mr. Sleeves here, but I have been following him for a while. To our channel, if you like it, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't, and tell us what you need to hear. All right, I got that. Some guy won't be mad at me. Rob's like, pull it. You got to tell people about it. So you said you play a little bit, or are you on the NPL, or how's it working?
No, I mean, my goal is they had a combine last March, and rumor has it they're going to have another combine probably next spring for season 2. So get my game in shape. I'm probably somewhere around a 4.0. Got to be around 4.5 if I want to don't want to look stupid. So go home, set my ball machine up after I get back from my folks' place here, and hit balls for 7 months and see how much work I can get in. But yeah, playing, obviously, I don't know if you know a little bit about me. I live in the middle of nowhere in Southwest New Mexico. So my courts are these dilapidated tennis courts from the 1970s that are just full of cracks and tar and ants.
Love it. Yeah.
And there's about 300 people in the valley I live in, and about 25 of us hit a wiffle ball around. So it's interesting because I come to an actual court and the ball bounces true. So I don't have any excuses when I come to an actual court.
It makes you a better player.
It does, yeah.
I mean, do you have chain link fences? I'm not kidding. Do you have chain link fences that are backing up the pickleball courts? They're supposed to be...
and a chain link fence that is the old tennis net that divides the courts.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So I did a video called "The World's Worst Pickleball Courts" on my channel about a year ago, and it was cool because people started sending me the pictures of their courts all over the world.
Wow.
And I haven't found anything worse. I found some that were comparable.
I would have pictured. Well, listen, next time you go to the Valley, since you're on the show now, it's our show. It's not my show. I hate when people say it's your show. It's not. You're on our show, so now do a video of that. We'll add it to a quick chat like you do and say sleeves pickleball with the wiffle ball. You know what I mean? I will. We will. I'm serious. Do that. So you have homework.
Right on. Will do.
So tell us, like right now. So I've hit a lot of what paddles are you using? I've tried Diadem. I've signed a player contract with Head. About 2 weeks ago. Thank you, Jeff Roush and Doug Kruger. But anyway, are you playing with any special type of paddle, or you prefer any type of brand? Which, if you don't, that's cool. But whatever.
No, it's interesting because when I review paddles,
cool.
the companies that contact me are generally just getting into the game. So it's either their first run or their second paddle or their first high-end pro level paddle. Wow. So I played a lot with Bread and Butter. I dig their vibe. They got a new paddle out called the Filth, which I dig. And then there's another paddle that I'm playing with from Kiwi Labs, which is called the Slice. And then Gabba Pickleball has the Rogue. So those are all, kind of the latest and greatest thermoform, unibody, raw carbon fiber stuff. Gives me more spin. So, yeah, that's what I'm playing with lately. But new stuff comes in all the time. And it seems like every time I get a paddle, I'm like, oh, I really like this one.
So you're cheating on your other paddles. Okay, no.
So it's one of those. I started off really thin. I started off with Gearbox and Pro Kenix, 10, 11 millimeter, and now I'm really liking these 16 mils because they have a lot of power too, because they're so stiff because of this unibody shape, and in one unibody design, and the thermoform gives you a huge sweet spot. So
do you have any of those on hand, or like pictures of them? Or do you have one of those on hand?
I'm not sitting around me at the moment.
You're not practicing grip changes, like forehand and backhand, forehand back. So any of those have leather grips? Have you seen any paddles with leather grips yet?
I think the Bread and Butter has what I would call a faux leather grip, which I like though. It's really tacky.
Mm-hmm. I like
and I dig that. I'm starting to go towards a more, a fatter grip because I get a little bit of pickleball / tennis elbow. And it seems if I have a fatter grip, that doesn't seem to bother me as much. So I generally put over grips on.
So you alternate paddles, which is totally understandable. I mean, I do have a question for you. I keep getting, and this is for people who might be doing podcasts or starting, but you're leading the way for me. I always look up to you because of the body work you've done. So my question to you is, I do get paddle, like these weird dingy things on my Instagram. What's it called? And I don't know which ones to really go with, or I mean, I don't really say thank you, or so we have an automated response. But
yeah,
do you have any people you want to name drop who provide you paddles, like a rep, or do you have anybody you like, or just stuff?
No,
like
I'm waiting a little bit. I don't know if I really want to do that because at this point I'm getting a lot of paddles, and I like getting the paddles from new companies because a lot of times they're not kind of stuck in a box. They're trying to innovate and get an attention, an audience attention. So I don't get a lot of, I haven't really, reviewed the stuff by Yola or Selkirk or the big companies. And I kind of like the smaller ones because, like me, the little engine that could, they need some attention, and they're doing cool things. Sometimes they're pushing the envelope a little and they push the bigger companies. So at this point, I'm just I get probably a few paddles a month, and that's plenty. I don't know if I need to sign with anybody, but
just give it
down the road, maybe it might be nice to have something constant I could play with. But at this point, it's kind of fun trying all the new stuff.
They're going to come after you and make the NPL, I'm telling you. And you will. You will. So that's great. So you just kind of float around with paddles. You paddle test a little bit, but you're not specifically do that. Your focus is the show, or the channel, which is awesome.
The podcast, and getting the getting those smaller companies a little bit of airtime.
Oh yeah,
because there's a lot of people that review paddles, and they get a ton of paddles, so they don't always have time to do the ones nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's my place.
That's cool. I'll be there with you. So, do you, when you play a little bit and do you like mixed? Do you like doubles? Do you like singles? Does it fit in the day? What is it?
I started off like most people, figuring like, well, I don't know anything about this game, and the best way to learn is maybe just play a little singles. I do not have a racket background. I played, pickup tennis. I had a racket, but I never played organized tennis, never had any lessons. My game, I played 25 years of sand volleyball doubles.
Well,
so when I got into it, I'm like, well, I'll just play singles because I don't know anything about the game. And then, I did all right starting, but then I ran into some tennis guys. And then I'm like, well, maybe I should try doubles.
well,
and so I actually prefer men's doubles over mixed, mainly because mixed in some level is a lot like singles because the guy's taking a large portion of the court and it's a little more chaotic. I sort of like the system and working the point a little more, which gender doubles kind of provides. So
man, that's great, man. I think that the cool thing I've seen, so you got back into it. You got to it, what, 2 years ago, 2021?
Yeah, right. About a year into COVID, I got introduced by my niece's boyfriend. He just brought some paddles out. We were in Lake Tahoe.
Sweet.
And I thought, hey, this is great. But I live in a yurt in the middle of nowhere. Where the hell am I ever going to play this game again? And then I went down to these dilapidated tennis courts and somebody painted pickleball lines on them. And so I just showed up for a week to see who it was. And they had a little group of 6. And so I joined that group and then other people joined. And now we got like 25 of us who are totally addicted. I'm sorry, what?
Want to name drop any of those people?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the couple that painted the lines,
let's hear them.
they summer every year from England. So they're only here in my valley in southwest New Mexico for 3 months at a pop. And it's my friends, basically, Tony and Debbie. And
awesome.
they'll be back sometime this fall. But, yeah, they started it really by just putting lines on these old courts. And then we just got, temporary nets. And we meet Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I hit balls in between those days.
Let's do a remote where you're there in the fall when they come back. And
all right.
I'm serious.
You got to see it.
I know. No, I do. That's one of the things.
People drop when they actually come. I've had a couple people who follow my channel somehow make it out to my area who are visiting, and they come to the courts and they're like, holy cow, they're actually worse than they are on the video.
Oh, man. Hey, you got courts, dude. In Dallas here, it's a whole new ballgame. But all right, well, cool. That's the beauty of this, and that's one of the things about the show that I like and I envisioned when I started out this journey was everybody's story.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the story, and I'm adding padel players, I'm adding badminton players and racquetball players. It's all about just stories in these racket sports that are, they're awesome, but they don't get much exposure. Like you and I, we like the small guys, and we're gonna. The small groups, the smaller people that don't have a shot at the big times. And that's how I played tennis in college. Just found the money and went there, and they weren't the best places, but hey, they gave it everything I had. But anyway, that's good. So you like a little. It just depends on what you play with. I love it. So right now, this is going to lead into what's your favorite place to play? Your favorite memory thus far in your 2 years of playing pickleball? Like, let's say you've played somewhere when it's freezing cold, but there was like you know what I'm saying? What was a cool place you played or a tournament you played that you liked the most? Good memory, basically.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to play what I would call real indoor pickleball, which is, an actual, what I would call an outdoor court with a building over it. So I hate playing in gyms. It's just tough. It's a glossy floor. There's 8 million lines. The ball is different. So I don't exactly remember the name of the club, but my niece and her boyfriend, the guy who introduced me to pickleball,
awesome.
They took me to their health club and they had indoor courts, an actual court with, permanent nets and, no wind, obviously. Great court, can use an outdoor ball.
Yeah.
That was ideal. I think that's really, as you watch as tournaments go and get canceled because of rain delays or wind, especially when they're playing in the South and things like that. I think overall, the tournaments probably, if the infrastructure can catch up, better off playing indoors just because you can control it. And, it doesn't take much wind to blow this goofy ball around. So for me, that's the ideal place to play and been the highlight so far. It's just playing inside on a real court with controlled conditions.
Well, I have a belief that it's probably going that route because, there's a lot of
yeah, I mean, chicken and pickle with NPL is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. But well, cool, man. So favorite place is indoors with your niece and her boyfriend. That introduced you to pickleball. And We've got those people across the pond that put the lines down where you live. So
Yeah.
the pickleball god said, "You're playing pickleball."
That's pretty much how it worked. And my entire family's involved. My sister, my
Good.
brother-in-law, my mom and dad. I put a half court in my parents' basement. It's it's got
Nice.
this total length, but it's only 10 feet wide. But I'm a little half net, so they can do some
Hey,
drilling down
man.
there. And when I'm here, I can hit some balls. So
As long as they're playing, dude, that's all that matters. You know?
yeah.
That's the most important part. All right, so let's talk about you. You said you're from Wisconsin, or you got siblings. You have what's your story?
Yeah, I grew up in in southeast Wisconsin, the Milwaukee area. Went to high school in Burlington, which is the south of Milwaukee. Go Demons! And got tired of the Midwest weather just because it wasn't consistent. Generally overcast, a lot of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes is generally the state bird. Although here this summer's been drought, so there's not a lot of mosquitoes, which is a rarity. But got out of the Midwest after college a few years. Went to the University of Wisconsin. Go Badgers! And then moved to Phoenix and became a high school teacher. My wife and I became high school teachers.
What did you teach?
I taught U.S. history and American literature, and my wife taught PE and health.
Yeah.
My wife's a really, really good athlete. Plays a little bit of pickleball. It's not necessarily her favorite thing to do, but when she plays, she's like everything. She's the only person I ever played that was good at golf right away, so she's sort of annoying in that way. But yeah, taught high school, got tired of doing that after about a dozen years. I loved doing it, but I didn't want to have to show up to a building for the next 15 years before I could retire. So we went out and we decided we were going to go learn how to do things with our hands. And we actually left our jobs in 2011 to go work on different homesteads throughout the Southwest and Europe to basically learn how to homestead.
Nice.
And we did that for 4 years, and we ended up figuring out what we didn't want to do, and that was move in the middle of nowhere and do it by ourselves. So we found a community of people that were already doing it, and we share a community with about 13 people on about 20 acres, and we all kind of share the heavy lifting. We don't all have to grow tomatoes. We don't all have to raise chickens. People can do their own thing, and we can share, and we've been doing that since 2015, living in what I call a really nice tent, which is a Mongolian ger, which is a yurt. It's a round structure that's been around for about 3,000 years. It's 300 square feet. I got a wood burning stove. Wow. I got no water outside, inside, but running outside. I take a dump in a bucket with straw, and that's my life, man. And I play pickleball.
What the hell just happened? What?
So drink that in.
I'd rather put it in my pipe and smoke it, dude. Wow.
Yeah, so I have a very unusual existence.
No, it's awesome. I knew there's.
Yeah.
Well, dude, look at you. Look at you. Like again, I gotta get this right. This is good. Hang on. So that's awesome. All right. So what we'll do now is we will go to in the kitchen, which basically is one of my favorite segment. Oh, she's. I'm an idiot. But anyway, reset. So, okay, going back to that, where you live and all that, do you have...
Yeah.
I forgot to ask, and that's on me. Do you have a favorite player or a favorite player right now that you're watching, male or female, or both, or what?
Yeah, I actually enjoy JW and Georgia Johnson. I love watching them. I just love the you can tell they're siblings. They care about each other a great deal, but I just love their attitude on the court. Mm-hmm. J-Dub's pretty stoic, and his sister's very fiery, and I think it's a good kind of fire and ice combination. Mm-hmm. And they're fun to watch. They seem super humble, which I really enjoy. Yeah. And they're unbelievably good and talented. So, and their mother plays pro, Julie Johnson. She's a senior pro. So
yeah, I've seen it. Wow.
That's my crew.
That's great. Well, we'll get them on. So, do you have a favorite shot that you like to hit? Yeah,
I taken from JW's book. I kind of like the forehand flick. Kind of put it up at that right shoulder if I can, if you're playing a righty. So nice. Working on that a little bit and trying not to telegraph it too much.
There you go. So what's your favorite drill? You have a favorite drill?
I like hitting third shot drops. I'm trying to work on a variety of third shot drops. So I take the ball machine out there and I'll hit cuts and nice. I'll hit top spin, forehand, backhand on each side. So I enjoy doing that because it seems to be the basis of if you want to get to the net and actually play high level pickleball. So.
Oh, good. Okay. So do you have a favorite drill?
Yeah, probably my drill that I like to do the most is I will take the ball machine, and I will start off where I'm returning serve, stop at mid-court, hit a reset, go to the kitchen, dink one, and then the next ball, if it put it away. So kind of just playing a game with the machine itself if I don't have a partner to do things with. I also like standing at the net and off the kitchen line and doing some volleys, quick volleys, moving to the kitchen line, doing that, stepping inside the kitchen line, doing that, and then moving about 3 feet from the net and just kind of bunting it back and forth and then back up and actually play from the kitchen, because then it feels like the ball is slowed down a little bit.
I love that. You're the first person I've had on that I don't know the ins and outs of a machine, but I'm curious about that. But you're the first person I brought on that really works specifically with that with the pickleball machine. So that's just another great asset to having you on. I mean, I've never made it. That's great. I mean, that's all there is to it. All right.
Yeah, and I have to, because I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I don't always have access to people that can get out there and,
Do you have a wall?
practice. So I have a wall. I do wall drills, and I do the machine, and then I have a couple people that like to practice drills. And then again, we play our rec games on generally Wednesdays and Saturdays on the world's worst pickleball courts. So.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so now we're going in the kitchen, man. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
So this right here asks about what's your favorite things to do. Kind of tells our listeners, who you are, what you like, and if you're weird or not. But we and I both know we're both weird, so we know that's why we get along. But anyway, so right now when I was coming in, this is a very funny thing. I was listening. I know you're gonna kill me. I was listening to the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I have an older brother. I have 2 siblings. I have 3 siblings. Derek, he's 4 years older than me, and that's all we heard growing up. So I was burnt out on him, all right? But I was cranking up some back in the USSR, and I forgot how awesome the White Album is. I mean, I just forgot. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was jamming to that. I don't know what you're jamming to. What are you listening to?
Older stuff in that generation. I just started I've always been a guy who didn't really care too much for the Beatles until I watched that documentary that they did, Get Back, the documentary about the documentary.
Yes.
And I was blown away by, I think it just sort of occurred to me that the depth of the songwriting these guys were doing in their 20s. Like, I don't know about you, but I was a seriously shallow human being in my 20s. Like, I didn't know anything about some of the stuff they're writing. Like, I mean, they're writing all these songs and all these lyrics and all these references. I'm like, these guys are like 23, 24 years old when they're writing this stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me?
All right. Okay. It's my show. I'm going to do what I want. Watch this.
Okay.
All right. See, who does this guy look like?
Looks like a younger version of me.
Yeah. See, I told you.
That guy's got his whole life in front of him, though.
No, he doesn't.
He's got hopes and dreams.
No, he's not being white. I've already talked about White Buffalo early on, like when I was at the other studio, how much I liked him a lot, and
yeah,
pretty good.
Newer stuff, I sort of like. There's a band called Highly Suspect that I'm kind of into lately.
Highly Suspect.
And Royal Blood's another band, so check them out sometime.
What was the other one?
Royal Blood.
The first one. I'm sorry.
Highly Suspect.
All right, man. Yeah, cool. Highly Suspect. Yeah. Cool, dude. All right, so then we'll go to movie. I think you and I are similar in age. I'll be 49 in September, but my favorite movie that I haven't watched in a long time is The Fog by John Carpenter. I mean, my God, everything that guy did, except for maybe a few later ones. But I love any John Carpenter movie. What do you like? What's your favorite kind of movie, or a favorite movie that you watch over and over?
I'm a huge Tarantino fan. Even when it's stuff that's not that good, I still find nuggets in it that I really like. Yeah. And I'm sort of a dork too. I love Forrest Gump. I was a runner. I ran in college and high school, and so I don't know. The movie just makes me smile and laugh and cry, and I love the running scenes.
That's cool.
And people, every time I would run, I have this hair down on my thing to be like, "God, run, Forrest, run!"
I forgot about that in the movie. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
you're crazy. All right, so okay, listen. My wife and I just got through binge watching. We watched 1883 a few weeks back. It was all right. We watched 1923, the Harrison Ford one, which was really good.
Right.
And we watched Yellowstone before we got these, but yeah, we just finished the 1923 yesterday. Great show.
Yeah.
Great. So what are you binging? Anything?
Shows I really like that I can watch over and over again and binge actually are Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
And I like True Detective because each one's a new anthology. Each season's a new show.
I need
And
to watch that. I haven't seen that. True Detective.
season one, I mean, you got to, if you don't watch any of them, you got to watch season one with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah. So we need something to watch.
It's brilliant television.
Is it? All right.
It's so good. It's one season. So my problem with watching a series is I don't start anything unless it's unbelievably superb, like for me, Game of Thrones. But if it's past 3 seasons, it's going to be hard to get me because I'm like, I just can't. I got a lot of shit not to do. Like, you know, I just can't. If I can't focus that long.
Okay, so anyway, let's talk about the what is. You're funny. So you have a favorite sports team? You like sports, or you like anything?
Yeah, I'm into sports. You know, I grew up in the Milwaukee area, so I kind of follow Brewers, Bucks, Packers, but I also lived a great deal in Phoenix, so I have a Suns, Cardinals, and Diamondbacks love as well. So when they play each other, I kind of lean towards the Arizona teams, mainly because that's the last place I lived, and I lived near there. But when I come here, you know, I kind of put my Brewer hat on and go to the Brewer games and things like that. So
there's nothing wrong with that, man. I was born in Kansas, and everybody knows I'm a Chiefs fan. Before they had the Chiefs, I was actually at the game where we beat the Packers 17-16. And when Kyle came, I was like 15 rows up. My family has season tickets; they've had them forever, and they live in Overland Park and all that. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I remember. I was going to say. You said Packers.
Well, that's what we have in common. My only game ever at Lambeau Field was 1990, I believe.
Wow.
And it was about 3 degrees out, and I had a full beer, and I had a mitten on, and I grabbed the cup, and it flipped out of my hand and poured all over the lap of the guy next to me who I didn't know.
Oh. Oh.
And it was like first 10 seconds of the game, and I'm like, oh.
That sucks.
He was not happy. So my buddy switched seats with me because that guy and I bought him a beer, obviously. But I mean, you get a beer in your lap when it's like 3 degrees out.
That sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's something weird people don't know about you?
I was on a lip sync show in 1987 called Puttin on the Hits. Syndicated television. I lip sync with another guy a song Dancing in the Streets by Mick Jagger and David Bowie, and we were just like milkmen, and we were called the Milk Dudes.
What was the name of the show again? What's it called?
Puttin on the Hits. Puttin on the Hits.
I remember that. You know, we're gonna tag that in your show, man. Cool. Well, sweet. Well, I guess that's all we got here, man. We'll stay in touch. Well, I do want the video of the court and those people that brought it to you.
Absolutely.
And you guys can do like a 5-minute snippet. We'll put you on here.
Yeah, when they come back this fall, I'll do a little snippet and send it your way, man.
Do it. Well, listen, if people want to get in touch with you about the pickle, maybe some senior pickleball players, and obviously I'm not being sarcastic, I'm serious.
Yeah.
If maybe you come to an NPL, how they want to help you out or they want advice, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is to really either Google or just go into YouTube and search Senior Pickleball Report. I'm on all the major social networks, and you can do the search there as well. And looking for pros to talk to and pros to come on and give some instruction. That's kind of a cool thing. I think senior pros to give some instruction specifically towards senior players might be a cool thing to do. So I'm looking into doing that.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, I love it. And I'm Curtis Reese. I can be reached Curtis at ReeseRacketSports.com. I'm not going to spell that crap because all you do is type in Curtis Reese Pickleball and it'll come up somewhere on the World Wide Web. But listen, hey, you've been great, and I'd love to have you back
Curtis.
on soon. And good luck with everything, and we will be back in touch.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.
Freaking Putting on the hits. You're crazy, dude.
Coming through.
Crazy. Oh, God. You're crazy.